Assalamualaikum and a very pleasant evening for all. My name is Aqil bin Anas, and with my partner Haidarul Ammar, we are from Group 13 and this video is intended for our SI group report. Okay, so right now let's talk about climate change. What is climate change? Okay, I'll try to give you an example, okay? Malaysia, the place that we all know and love, is getting warmer and warmer as time goes on. Why is that so? And we can also notice that the weather is changing regularly. Why is that? Okay, this is due to climate change. That is the effect of climate change, but that is on a regional scale. But what happens to a global scale? We know that through the warming of the earth, it makes the sea level rise due to the iceberg melting at the North Pole and South Pole. Well, that's one of the effects of climate change. So then, we did conduct a survey, but how do we do it? Our survey consists of 30 questions, 30 basic questions, and there are some questions about climate change and how they know about it, and what they think is the effects of climate change. Okay, so we send it to people around Sri Iskandar, Ipoh, Boter, and Batu Gajah. Why these people? Why these people from all these places? Because we are trying to conduct a survey around people around Perak. So we distributed randomly towards people due to our random sample, because we want random sample so we can know what the overall population thinks. Okay, so now let's talk about our research hypothesis. Our research hypothesis is that we believe that Malaysians are well aware about climate change and their awareness is just going up by the second. And we also believe that Malaysians are very responsible. Malaysians are individuals that they are individuals that have taken action to tackle the problem to overcome climate change. So now let's move on to the video. Okay, now let's move on to data analysis and discussion. There are a few sets of questions that we asked and prepared for our respondents, and this is the first question that we are going to discuss today. The first question that we are going to discuss is, has air pollution ever affected your health? From the pie chart above, we know that there are out of 71 respondents, 65 of the respondents answered yes, 4 answered no, while 2 answered don't know. From this pie chart alone, we know that most of our respondents has been affected by air pollution one way or another. 2, they are not really sure whether they are affected or not, while only 4% are not affected. Air pollution has played a major impact in our lives as most of us live in the cities, and it could affect us in a bad way, even not now, but also in the long run.
1, 2, 3. Now we go to the question 9. Have you heard of climate change? Most respondents answered yes, which has a number of 59 votes and has a percentage of 84.3 from the total respondents. They must have heard or learned about it either from YouTube or from the news broadcast. This shows that it's not something new and has been around for quite some time. Second most votes is no, which has a number of 8 votes and has a percentage of 11.4. Quite surprising for people living in this modern era has never heard of climate change. This shows that there are still people who may not believe in climate change and maybe are too busy with their daily life. This reason is also valid for the remaining 4.3% who answered don't know for this question. We can see that from this data, it meets our first hypothesis, which is that we hypothesize that there are more people who know about climate change than those who don't. From the accepted hypothesis, we proved that there are more people who know about climate change than those who don't. This means that people still care about the environment. People still want to know and are aware about the situations around them. We still might have hope in saving the earth and reversing the effects of climate change.
So right now, let's move on to the next question which we are going to discuss, which is, what do you know about it? This question refers back to the previous question, which is, what do you know about climate change? So in this question, we're asking the respondent about what do they know about climate change and what do they understand from it. Okay, from the number of votes, 31 numbers of respondents know that climate change is a change of climate and weather, while 23 number of votes are from climate change is due to human activities, while 5% voted that climate change is the damaging of ozone layer. Well, mostly all of the respondents has the right idea about climate change because climate change is a change of climate and weather is due to human activities and it is the damaging of ozone layer. So from this, our hypothesis, which is factually, increasingly Malaysian citizens know about climate change than the ones that don't know, is accepted.
1, 2, 3. Moving on to question 18, which is, have you ever taken or do you regularly take any action out of concern for climate change? This question asks the respondents about have they ever taken any action or did anything to save the earth, to reverse the effects of climate change. So, from the data that we collected, the most number of votes for this question is yes, which has 36 votes and has a percentage of 62.1 out of the total respondents. This proves that there are still a lot of people who are willingly to help save the earth and want to reverse the effects of climate change. Some examples of the actions taken by the respondents are carpooling together to work, taking public transports, and also recycling every waste possible. So, the second most votes for this question is no, which has a surprising percentage of 22.4. This means that there are still some people who are still lazy and does not care about the environment. More worrying, the ignorance towards the effects of climate change. As for the least votes is don't know, which has a percentage of 15.5. These respondents may or may not take any action to prevent climate change. These people can be said to be ignorant towards the effects of climate change too. From this question's data, we can conclude that our second hypothesis has proven to be correct. We hypothesized that there are more people who made actions against climate change, and from the data we collected, we proved that our hypothesis can be accepted.
We can say that the survey that was carried out by us was a great success. From the data that we collected, we now know that people who are living in Sri Skandar, Tronoh and Batu Gajah still care about the environment, and this proves that there are still many people who cares about the environment and our earth. So, we want to tackle this issue, and we now know that as many people knows about climate change and made any action about climate change, we now have faith that the effects of climate change are reversible. Lastly, as the number of people who knows and make any action against climate change increases, so the chances for us to be inhabitable on earth increases as well. Thank you.